G'day, how you going? Ianapolis here, your acrylic guru from Australia. Welcome to my video. Today I'm going to do an acrylic painting of like a rocky coastline. Before I get started, I just want to get some sizes on the canvas there, and I'll also get some colours going up the screen as well so people can write them down. Now this is going to have a lovely realistic colours I'm going to go for in this one, and it's a sort of painting that's going to make a beginner go, that's the type I want to paint, because I love painting these paintings. I've got something scribbled out on the canvas here, and you know, you can do this painting, you can actually do it, and when you have done it and it's got it on and you've got it on the wall, people are going to look at it and go, you know what, I like that. That's what sort of effect it's going to have on people, and it's going to make you feel like, you know what, I love painting as well. That's what keeps us inspiring. Everybody keeps inspiring everybody to do what they do. So come on over here and let's get right into it. Okay, I've got my horizon line straight across there, but in reality it's only going to come to about here. There's the ocean there. I've got like a headland or a thing out here. But see the top of the water, I'm seeing a lot in beginners, and I just want to bring it to your attention. Don't sit it on top of that. Bring it down a bit past it, okay? And this is sort of going to come around. We're going to come around there and stop, because I want some rocks here, and they're all going to be in front of that, okay? So it's creating depth and distance and such like that. And all these trees will be painted in accordingly. I'll have something big there and something bright here, setting that darker piece back. And we can make our land, grass, dirt, whatever, blend into these rocks. And we'll just have some simple shimmering water out here, okay? Try not to get your horizons too high up. So for my sky, I want to mix up some retarder and craft soft-bodied acrylic white paint. This is not gesso, but if you don't have craft paint or a soft-bodied acrylic paint, you can use gesso, but I prefer to use this one because it has a sheen in it, a bit of a shine to it. And I want to just prime up my sky area first with this, so I mix that with the retarder, and I'm mixing it with this nice broad 2-inch putter on a brush because it don't muck around. And as you can see, I've got my horizon line there, so I'll paint this in just all over the canvas, just crisscross it into the tooth. Now I'm going to have some trees in that there, so I don't need to go all the way down there, and I'll go accordingly to my horizon line. Crisscross it in like that. Now it's all lumpy and gluggy and blobby. Fair enough, you can do that, right? Look at it, it's all up in the brush there like that. Get it all off, it's right into the canvas. Okay, you can do that, see? Now I'm going to use the tip of the brush and stroke that like a gentleman. And look at this, I'm getting all those lumps out, and I'm evening up the surface and getting it ready to put our sky colours in there. I'm going to use my cerulean blue for the sky colour. I want it to come from the blue down to the horizon lighter in value, and I want to mix up the permanent alizarin and some grey for some polluted horizon colours. So let's just get this without any retarder in it now, because everything on the canvas has a retarder. There's not much paint, bit of a blob there. This brush soaks it up, but look at it, you can see what's there. And I'll get it right into the top and then start pulling it down to the horizon. Beautiful. It's lightening up the bottom, which I want. You don't want it dark blue all over, otherwise you could create that cartoon look. So I'm getting it to roughly where I want it. Now I'll use the tip of the brush. See here, you might not get much force, but with this putter on a brush, you go to the tip and it starts really putting the paint where it's got to go. Okay, now I'm going to stroke that like a gentleman to get all the sky the even value, because the blue is one value, it's the clouds and pollution that makes it different colours in there. That is achievable. You can do that, can't you? Now the next thing you can do, and I'm pretty sure you can do, you just wipe that brush, get all the snot off that like that with a paper cloth or something, or a kitchen towel. Now I want this grey down the bottom, but I just want itsy bitsy teeny bits of that permanent alizarin to make up that polluted colour. I see this in the bottom of my skies quite a lot here in Australia. Just from the bottom and fading up to about there, so get it on. Oh yeah, look at that, love it, down to there. And now I want to, if you're ever having a sky and there's a mountain there, don't bring this up and around and follow. Always keep going in cahoots with your horizon line. Get that up there. I'm using the tip of the brush to force feed the canvas with the paint, and then I'll come on its side and I'll stroke that into the blue sky like a gentleman. And see, now where that grey polluted area is, we put some white clouds on there. It'll pick it up. It'll give your sky that bullshit look. And people will go, I like that. Let's get all that up there. Ready for some clouds. That's polluted. That's what it looks like here. And see, that next step, you can do it. Now I'm getting my go-to brush to put the clouds on, which is it's a hog bristle fan brush. I'll scrape that into the point like a chisel. And I'll probably get, I want something just from here crisping onto the blue, just like that. Get a bit of body in your cloud. I'm dancing around something up there. And I want to kind of point to the middle of the painting with my cloud. Scrape it out like that. Look at that. I love doing them. Now, I want to blend in here, tickle the tops a little bit. I want to push that out a bit more, soften it. Oh yeah, there we go. Look what's on the brush. You've got to constantly wipe it. Now, try and use your blending brush to change the shape of that top if you're not quite happy with it. Don't stress about your clouds. They will come to life on your canvas as you paint them. Now I want to go from about halfway down and blend that into that grey pink, that grey permanent alizarin colour. Pick up some of them, push it in there, because this is right back over the horizon, creating that shape from where this person is standing. And this person is standing eye level to the horizon line. That's why you don't have it way up there at the horizon line, because if you do, it's like you're standing on a big set of scaffold work or a helicopter and you're looking at the scenery there, where you're standing on your feet when you look at scenery. Now, can you see what I've done there? And it's important why. How this is smeared down. You can't find the bottom, but it's smeared into that polluted colour. I'll show you why I do that. It's just the way I like the aesthetics of my paintings to look. Now, I'll wipe that. I've washed the brush and I want to add something further back in the distance. So I might come about here. This is going to have yumminess and more brighter values in it, but not as big as that. And in between the top of this cloud and there, see this grey mist colour there? I want to have some of that between the middle, so it's creating that perspective and depth. And I don't know, we could probably bring something of it up there as well. Clouds just make up their own shapes, don't they? And it's up to you to do the same thing. Now I've just got another smaller blending brush so as I can get in there. So I don't want to destroy the harshness of the tops. I can sit them down and tickle them a little bit, and then we'll just bring some of this down into that grey as well. Wipe your blending brush, sorry. Get that up there somewhere. Now if you like the way I paint clouds, stick to my method. If you like somebody else's way of painting clouds, stick to their method. If you try and learn too many different ways, you can confuse yourself and you get lost. There we go. And hopefully that would look like some clouds in the distance of our sky that look kind of real. So when people look at your painting, they'll go, oh shit, you didn't paint that. And you can go, I did. I'm just pushing something there down so it wasn't too uniform. There we go. And that's it. You can always do this at the horizon as well. You get little lines there. They're subtle, but they're there. And before I finish, I might just put some gap filler stuff up here. I call them gap fillers, but in hindsight, they're really high cirrus clouds. They're those cirrus clouds. So you pretty much put them on, but they do have whispering shapes to them like that. Any old way. Grab a blending brush and sit that. You don't have hard edges on this cirrus cloud up there. You just sort of have it like cotton wool floating in the sky. Wisp it the way you want the wind to touch it. You'll find these movements, boom, they're so easy once you know how to do them. You don't know how to do something unless you've learnt it, and once you learn it you think, oh, it was that easy. It really is that easy. And if you think it's hard, well, that just means you need to practice. So there's a high cirrus cloud. How's that looking in there? Not too bad. It's a bit lightning bolt looking, so I might distort it a bit here and put a gap filler one there and there. That's it. Too easy. Now let's just distort that one. I don't want him looking like a lightning bolt. I just don't. You might want to, you leave it like that. Get this whispering up there. And when I finish blending this down, these cirrus clouds, they're gap fillers, but they're really cirrus clouds. We'll look at the sky and we'll be able to see that it has a value of realism to it. That's not bad, eh? And see, with a bit of practice, you can do that. Now I want to paint me water in this cape here, or this section here. I don't need and I don't want to prime it all over where I'm going to do detail work, just where I want to put the water. And in doing that, I'm going to use the craft paint. That's got retarder in it. This doesn't need retarder because I'm just going to put the blues in it and that's it. I don't need extra time to sit there and put other stuff on and blend it in. Pretty much 90% of my retarder use is in my skies with the clouds. Detail work, you don't really need it in my opinion. So I'm going to I'll get this to roughly there. That's where I want the rocky groin to start coming across the painting. And I don't want to get this right hard against the horizon line. I'll paint it to the horizon line because in past videos I've found I'm doing this right at the horizon line and I'm leaving a roll of paint up there, and it's bloody annoying when you've got to try and get that down into the water side. So the horizon line's a bit higher. I've got this on there. Now I'm just going to stroke it like a gentleman, and I'll just slowly, see there what I'll do, I'll just wipe that off the edge of the brush. I'll even get a cloth or something, and I'll slowly just bring that white paint somewhere up there, just so when the blue hits a canvas, it's not going to hit the raw canvas and come a different value. There we go. That was quite easy. I've got no roll of paint there now. So even I learn something every day. We all do. Now we'll put some water on there. I've got some French ultramarine blue for the very distant bit, and that's just going to be the subtlest little band of water out there. I want it a little bit darker than the blue I'm going to use. So I'll grab some of this and that grey there maybe. And I just want this pretty much on the horizon line area. So we'll get this, go again. There we go. I just got to get rid of that white edge of paint there. It's still, I could have dried the sky and masked it up, but I'm just trying to do it freehand. So those people who like to paint loose or freehand, they can do it this way. There we go. We're only going to have a band about that thick with this French ultramarine blue. I'm just getting it, that white on the canvas does lighten it up a bit. There we go, look at that. Now I'll use the rest of the ocean colour that I'm going to use. So down here I've got some phthalo turquoise. It's quite dark, look at that, but once it hits that white paint on the canvas, it's going to lighten up a bit. We'll get this pretty much blend it to the top there. Yep, that'll do. Now I'll scoopulate it all the way in the water areas. There we go, scooting it. And see, it's pretty much not coming off on the dry canvas. It's only coming off where the craft paint is, which is quite magically artistic, I feel. Now it's up to you here to get the values you want. I want a bit of, I might put a bit of cerulean in there, some of the blue colour, and let's turculate some of that a bit. There we go, look at that value, a different value. We got those colours happening, reflective colours happening. And we want to get just bits of this artistically painted in there like that. A bit more of that blue actually. There we go. Now I'll get the brush on its edge and I'll stroke it like a gentleman. I'm going to try and get some better merging up there. There we go, that's all right. Now we've got bands in that water, which is great. You need them, I feel. Now I want to grab some of that grey I was talking about, so I'm just going to grab some of that in the tip of my brush. I haven't washed it, so hopefully I didn't need to wash it. And probably I'll do my stamping thing with this, that way I'll get it on there. Probably about, there we go. I just want a band of this somewhere radiating through there, granulating itself through there, maybe a little bit out there. Quite easy to do. All right, now I'm going to wipe the buggery out of that brush, because you don't want to put all that into your painting. Get that off there. And I just want to waterfy that grey, sink it into there. Beautiful, because that's the depth, the colour for a bit of shimmer I want to put on the water. Now I've dried that before I put the shimmer on there. So I have some white, and I've got a flat toothbrush, not a concave one, it's a flat one. And I'll get this in the water, there we go. And I'm going to start pulling that paint into the toothbrush. Not all that thick stuff, just this flickable stuff, because see, you've got a nice load in the tip of your brush. I've just covered the sky area there, and I want to get mainly here, broadening out into the painting. So let's try, and that grey is pretty much where I want all this. I want to try and get it in bands though, there we go. And this is just going to make people think the water looks quite real, looks like a photo. Well, it is a photo, because it's a photo of your painting when you put it out on the internet. It's great. It's just another way. When people say your work looks like a photo, that's just another way of them going bullshit or wow. You know, they're giving you a compliment. There we go. We've got our shimmer there. I don't want it all the way here, because the sun and that's still way up high, and it's casting down on the water. The light reflecting off the water, so that's the light source is up above, it's not down on the horizon. Okay, now I'll just pull the cover off so as we can get a gist of our shimmer on the water. Now I'm just going to do something different to give a variety of things you can do. I've got a tub of black gesso here. I've just shoveled some of it out and put it on the lid. I'm just going to use the black gesso to block in the foreground and the midground on the horizon there. So I'll just get that onto the brush there, and I'm just using a flat, so I'll use a variety of flats to get my job done. So these rocks, where's me tape? There it is. I'll just get this, and this goes on a lot easier. I'll just get this in a line there, because this is going to be in front of what's out there, but it'll make sense. So that's why I've got that line there. I'll see it in the thing. Now I want to get bits of rock shapes jutting out, because these are all going to be highlighted appropriately, but I'm making the edge of them. See how this is all torn and broken? I don't want the edge of these like that. I want these a bit more solid and hard, because they're close. Well, I don't want rolls of paint on it though. They're in view, they're close up, they're not out in the distance. So now I'll just block that in. This is just flat black, it's got chalk in it. Okay, I'll pick up my bullshit stick and I'll get my horizon area quite straight, which is starting off about out here somewhere. Where are we? Out there. So I'll just get this straight line for now, and then I can start bringing it down. Put the stick away, don't need it anymore. And this is going to come around here, like so. And then this will be all painted up. Now I'm going to use, for the top of this, because I like to use my, what do you call it, my filbert. I'll get this a bit better there. I want it a bit lower than the horizon line. I don't like it sitting on top, I like it coming down a bit. There we go. Level but uneven if you want. And out here you can use this to paint your canopies, your trees, however way they're going to look, just like that, see? Bits of air in between some of them, there you go. And try and smooth all this off. Leave me a comment below what you think of my videos. If you have any questions to ask, comment below and they'll be answered and addressed in a following Friday Night Live once I receive your messages there, your questions. Beautiful. This will dry nice and flat. I'll give that a dry. Now I've dried that black gesso, and just so you get a gist of what's in my mind, I'm going to show you here, like these rocks, they're pretty much going to continue sinking this back, okay, and they're going to come pretty much jangling, jaggering all the way out there like that. You can come all the way to the edge or stop, and I want to kind of radiate that band of rocks coming wherever. So that's all going to be jangly rocks in the grass here. So, and then out here, I hope this pencil's getting picked up. I'm going to do kind of like there, where are we? Keeping it straight and come around. I want that to be land, bank, land, and then the trees there. So you get a gist of what's going on in my head. So what I'm going to do, like this area here, I've got a smaller filbert, and like I put that pencil line there, I want that looking like the trees are sitting over it like that. You got me? So I'm going to paint the trees. Oh, where'd the tip of my brush go? So I want to paint them first. I've got some hydrated water there, and I'm going to start off with the Terre Verte green. And if it's not the colour enough, I can add a bit of yellow. So as we do, okay, we'll start about here. Terre Verte green, I think that's how you pronounce it. Now we're going over, you don't want dark left at the top when you do this style. You want the colour over the dark. Let the dark be under it. That's important. Then whatever's under can do what it's going to do. I'll get that blob off the brush. I'm trying to get that blob. Terre Verte, I've never used this before, and I'm liking it. I really like it. So I'm going to create depth over that line there. That's why I put that line there, so I can see what I'm doing. And we're going to pretty much do this to this part of the painting, leaving good amounts of dark within everything, because we're going to subtly, and I mean subtly, highlight this out there. You don't want all this foreground green the same as the foreground green. It's just guru shrubs, they are, these ones. Shrubs and trees, guru shrubs and trees. That's all they are. Okay, I've dried that. I wanted to get the land bit done now. Now you can have sand, rocks or lawn out there. I want to do a bit of rocks, so I've just got a small detailed brush. I've got some grey here. So I'm going to use this one to try and get just some distant stones and rocks out there, just so we can get a dark grey value, and we'll pump in dark grey rocks on that black gesso. Get it a bit watered down just so as we can get some dots going like that along here. So I'll start out there somewhere. I'll fill that bit of blank spot there, and just subtly come across your shoreline. Now see that pencil line I put there? I'm using that as a guide. It's sort of like a stone holding back the water. Try and do it randomly so they don't look like they've been done by a factory machine. You can probably leave some lawn in between this, but I'm just going to make it simple and just do these kind of stones, whatnot like that. And if I need to add more darks into them, well then I will do so accordingly. Come a bit bigger now. Now I'm just going to simply dry them and add some highlights to them, alright? Just before we do that, I've just see how they look like they're floating on the water? Very gingerly, come back out here and get dark between them and the water. Just like that. And then the closer we come, we can start scratching it through, creating a bit of detailed darkness. But if you don't put this there, they're going to kind of look like they're floating out there. And then when we put the water hitting the edge, it'll make sense. There we go. Now we're going to, and the good thing about this dark that I've just put on, when we highlight some of those rocks, they can be highlighted over this actually. Okay, so I've cleaned that brush, use the same brush, and we'll just pull some grey out over here. Enough that we're going to need. Roll it in your brush, moisten your brush a bit, dip it in that hydrated water, and then twist it into the tip of the brush, because the tip of the brush is what's going to be doing the transferring of the paint from your brush to the canvas to create utter bullshit and lovely art. And we're going to just create tops of rocks, sitting rocks in front and forward of each other. Lights hitting them. I hope that's looking all right. It's a little bit bright. I'm just creeping some more of that darker value back in there again, just to play with it. Because if you go too bright, I feel things can start looking cartoony. And you go through stages of different types of art you do, and you realise what you've done in the past, and it's always good to look at your old art and see what you've done wrong or where you can enhance your work. And this is pretty much simply sitting rocks in front and forward of each other. Teensy, beensy, teensy bits out here, very teeny bits. See there? Sometimes we can be in too much of a hurry when we paint. I don't know why. And you're not loading your brush properly, or you're not stroking the canvas properly. And it's because we're just in a hurry to finish the darn thing. I don't know why it happens, but I suppose it's just something that we're wired to do. I'll come a little bit thicker there like that. Okay, now what the next procedure will be is we'll try and get those rocks sitting in the water, with water kissing against the bank. Okay. I've got the yellow and the green, the terre verte green, just between those rocks that I've done and those trees I put up there. I want to put a bit of lawn, because over here in Cottesloe and Scarborough Beach and things like that, we've got bits of lovely lawn on the beach. A lot of the ratepayers pay high rates, so they get lovely lawn on the beach. Good on them, eh? So let's do a little bit of that. So we've got the rocks, we're going to have the lawn and the trees coming over. That's what's in my mind. But like I said before, I'm in Australia, I'm not gone to Carolina. And this is just subtly simple dimples. It's created some aspects of stuff going on behind the rock. Now, you know what? I'm glad you watched the video a few times, because put this in before you highlight your rocks. Because see, you can go like this. And then you can, when you highlight your rocks, you can sit them back on top of that lawn, beautiful ratepayers lawn. We'll call it ratepayers lawn, hey, that's a good one. And then you can sit, I'll show you here, you get an idea. It's looking more artistically well done. See, it doesn't look like it's an afterthought. So that's why I like to encourage my viewers to watch my paintings more than once. You know what mistakes I do or what order needs to be changed. If you've got your different habits than me, you might want to mix things up a little bit, okay? And now I'm just simply setting that green back. There we go, all done. Now if you look down here, I've got some forest green, grabbing some forest green, and I'm just tearing some of that cadmium yellow into there, okay? Now I'm brush mixing, so my brush is very gluggy, so I'm going to have to wash my brush and then load it again. I want this value different to that value, so I'm going to pull in some more until I'm happy with the different value, and there you go, wouldn't you know it, I'm happy with that. So out here I want to subtly use this brush. Too big. My paint's I did water it down a bit, but I did it too much there, so I'm going to load it again. I'll start on the bigger stuff out here. Now I don't want to do this over all of this green, I just want to do some subtle little hints of different bushes there catching up with their mates and going, there you go. Bit of ratepayer lawn under our feet. Yep, way to go. Lovely day, look at the water. Yep, I'm going to kneel down here and put my hands in the water. There you go. These trees love each other. And just subtly put some light hitting different bits, sitting some darker ones back in the background. I'll try and get rid of that blob if I can. I might have to put some dark back over that. That was stupid. Get some of this, just putting its hands over those shadows there. See, like that? Boom. Some there, some there. But you need those darkness at the base of your trees, shrubs, whatnot. And you'll get a grasp of what's happening. Now what I'm doing here, this and that are sort of coming forward. Okay, that one and that one. So with the highlight, I'm going to start putting the left edge of that in front of what's there. Just radiate it back. But the right side of this tree, shrub, whatever it is, I'm going to leave dark there. Some bits can dribble in there, but the main left side of it's pushing that other one back. All right? Practice these things. They're lovely to do. There, that'll do it. I'm not happy with this to make it work. I've got to get this dark, so I'm using the actual forest green. Just this main shrub here. I'm going to have to paint some black into this as well, but I want all that green, light green gone. So this is another bit where when you watch the video, you know to stop that colour there, grab your forest green and block this shrub in the forest green colour, and it's going to make sense when we put that foreground green shrub in front of it. I've just dried it, and mainly from here where it's going to spurt out, I'll get some darker values in that, so I'm going to kind of scrumble them in as well, because it'll make sense once I put the foreground, hopefully, tree in front of it. I would have liked some sky windows in there, meaning pockets of sky coming through. I can easily paint some blue there if I want to do that. Let's scratch that in there. That's it. I am grabbing just some of the Terra Verde green and sort of fanning out from the guts of the tree just to the left hand side to kind of put it in front of those foreground ones. I mean, see here, just sitting all that back there, getting some of it there. I'm not going to highlight this. Okay, now the top of my rocks are about here. This shrub's going to be behind it. I've got the Terra Verde green, and I'm just going to paint my shrub up to where I want it, like that. And where'd it go? Here it is. See these darks? I want some of it spatting up in there and just jostling in front of that, leaving the darks in behind there. So now you can see why I wanted that to be back dark again. Come right off your painting there, bit up there. Leave some darks within it like so. This is going to be mainly the bright green, but this is the darker values of it. I'm getting rid of any hilly brush strokes out of there, those peaks that I've made with the brush strokes. Come all the way down there where the mountain's going to go. Oh, not the mountain, the rocks. Mountain. There we go. And we can probably, that's it. Now I'll dry that and then we'll just simply highlight that, and that's going to put this shrub right in front of everything. So this colour that we mixed up earlier, I'm going to use that brush. What's that in there? I'm going to use that brush, and I've also got this one. So this one that I did the rocks in, keep that on standby ready as well, because I'll show you what we're going to do with that. No, where are we? This colour here. This is the colour of the actual shrub. And the way I brushed on this colour is the way I want to put this colour on now. So just find what, I'm kind of twisting it, I'm doing something different. Bit of stabbing ons, but there we go, in front of there. See that value? We want that different to this one. But leave bits of dark within this as well. I'll get it on there. Spitting up into that dark, bits of, right up into there. I'll show you why I've got that other brush in a minute. Some of you might already know. Get up there, there we go. That what is it called? Terra Verte green. You got to leave some of that in there to make it do its job. I'll show you why in a minute. Now I'm scrumbling some of those hard edges just down like that. Look at that, too easy. You can do this. There we go, leave a lot of the dark there. Now that other detailed round brush, put that one down like a gentleman. Pick that other one up, and we want to just add the detail, because this is getting a bit closer to the person who's standing there looking at this scenery now. And we just simply do dots. Try and get them as fine as buggery. And then you can use this. I'll put a little bit of yellow in it, just so you can see it. So this is acting like a highlight. All right, better ink it up a bit now. And let's see if that's going to stand out. Oh, it is, subtly. These bits dancing in front of the black, you are just making them more sharp and in focus, setting the stuff in the back further back. Dance some up into there, look at that. In here somewhere. Now if you want to go this extra mile, that colour that I started doing the little dots in, I've just added more of the cad yellow and just really sparking it up, because I wasn't quite happy with the way it was sitting. So this is just going to really transform this shrub into a bit more wonder. I'm hoping, I'm pretty sure it should work. Now I want to do these rocks and this a little bit of ground cover kiss in them. They're going to be a grey flavour, so if you've got different values of grey in tubes, use them, but if you don't, just mix yourself up a light, medium and a dark grey, and we're going to paint them in with that. I'm going to try this. It's a flat brush, but it's like a hog bristly one. It's not a soft one, and I'm going to start with, I've got some in some tubes, so I'm going to take advantage of that. I'll get some dark grey. I've got some medium grey, and or is that a light grey? I don't know. I'll find out. That's the same colour as that one there. And I've also got some yellow ochre. So I want to start with this grey, but that's a little bit too light. I want to get the black. Where's the black? And I want to incorporate some bits of black into that to get at the value I want first. And we're going to slowly come lighter and lighter. So there we go. I'm happy with that. I want to get the edge, tighten it up there. I don't want to see any of that black. Bring it down. Boom, boom. But I want to leave black in the middle of it all, like here. I might bring them just all the way off and come. Now these are going to be me rocks, so I'll start with these, and then we've probably got some there, Some there, some there. Leaving blacks in it. Now I'm just jangling it any old way. I'm not worried if, see these hard bits there? I'd like to soften them down. I'm pulling my hand back on the handle of the brush, painting quite loosely. This is quite a dark grey. So I'll continue this all the way down to the bottom here. Getting the edge, oh look at that, beautiful. Don't have any hairy, wispy bits going out on top of that water if you can. It's got to be nice and sharp. You can come in here and do all your wispy, hairy bits, all right? And we might, I don't know, probably bring quite a bigger one right in front of that again. Get the top edge dark, nice and dark. There we go. Something right in front there with a flat top on it. And something kind of jutting out uneven there. There we go. Now dry that and highlight it, and I'll get the lawn in there. I'm thinking for the lawn, find yourself a flat brush that you can get some good edges on. I'm thinking I'll just start off with some dark forest green. And you're pretty much going to do lines, so come leaving some good dark in between the rocks. Like that, pick it up some more. There we go, get some lawn there. You can have some in front of the rocks, but on the other side you have it, see here will be in front, but on the other side you'll have shadow. So it's adding perspective to your work. I'm doing this before I do the highlights, because any of the highlights are going to detail the rocks and sit them in front and behind where they should go. This green is sitting on top of the black gesso, and I'm leaving some of the black gesso sticking through. So when I highlight it, the highlights will sit over the green and over that black, and it'll just give it depth and luster and loveliness. There we go. I'm just going to pick up the rest of that cad yellow that I had, bring it over to this forest green, and that's going to be my ratepayers lawn value there. And we're just going to subtly highlight that lawn, sinking it back where it needs to be, but not too bright if you can help it. So where are we? I'll start up here. Yeah. Now leaving some of the darks within this as well, in front of that rock, see? There we go. If you have a wickedly great way of doing your lawns and stuff, by all means you do it your way, okay? I can only do what I know how to do, and if you like the way I do it, you can do it as well. That's what my videos are all about. Don't be intimidated by that notice at the front of my video. That's just telling people that steal content from the internet, don't steal my video file and download it to your computer and post it somewhere else as your content. The video file is my content, but you're more than welcome to copy the painting and things like that. Now going back to the darker grey that I had before I added black into it, which was that pile there, I'll try and steal that as well, because we got that colour. I want to get this, but I want to highlight it with some of this yellow ochre, just to get that value shining within it. And then we'll highlight the rest of it on top of this. And I'll just wipe some of that off there. We'll start over here where the light's hitting it right against there. Just scrumble it in. Now I've put a rock there. I want to put make like there's another one in front of it. Maybe here as well. You don't want too much of this. Where are we going? There we go. We'll get something up here. Highlighting stuff. Just stop, look in your camera, squint your eyes, look at your work, see how it's going. This is the main colour of the rocks, but we're just kind of letting it scratch in there. Boom, over there. I'll pull some off, and I want to
Scratch some of that down now. And the good thing about doing rocks this way that I'm teaching you, if you feel, oh, you know what, I've not got too much bright in mind, you can go back and dribble some of the dark colours before you actually highlight it. But you can see these rocks, they're starting to look rockulatingly rocky. Now, we've got some rocks there. There. I'm going to leave a bit of dark there, so that other big rock that I put in the foreground, I'm starting to think with my artistic license, and I think, well, what I'll do there, I'll really boldly get this one right in front. Yeah, right in front. And oh, bang, yeah, he's in front. That's it. See, and that sunk that one back. Yes, it's working. We can probably put a little nick down there. This doesn't have to be on all of it, just not as much as that grey we put down. This is just a bit lesser than the grey. Try and cut in front of stuff as well as you're doing it. Cut there, here we go. Bit down here, see, you go there and I mean cut in front of it, boom. There we go. I'm going to look at my monitor and just see how that's looking. That's looking okay. I feel it's a little bit loud. I might come back and I'm cutting some bits in front. I might have to put some dark in there, but just let me finish some of this highlights. Boom, there we go. Now I've got the black, it's quite inky. Pretty much where it's on the lawn, it's going to radiate black. And you know the bits that I cut in front, you want to leave them there, but you want to kind of wiggle some bits of dark stuff around if you can. Just wiggle it in there, just to depthify it. You don't want lines though, you want it sort of smeared and jostulated in there like that. Have fun with it, darken up some of those values and get pieces crossing in front of everything, and so it's not all one big, like this one's looking like one big rock, so we might need to put a bit of dark behind him and bring it forward in front of there. How's that looking? That's looking a little bit better. You see the difference it's doing? So we'll get some dark in there, just squiggle around, jingle jangle, muck around, pretend you know what you're doing, that's all right. Use your finger and, oh, lucky I've got some blue there, I'll have to fix that up. You want it nice and dark where it's meeting the lawn. Beautiful rape's lawn there. And I'm going to look in my monitor, and then when I highlight this is really just going to add so much bullshit. I can put a little vein in that if I want. You can do that. That's what I like to do in, like, let's say some of the big ones, little veins, and they come into play later on. I pulled some of that mixture I mixed with the yellow oxide. Now I've got the lighter grey, and if it's not light enough I can always add some white. Okay, but we don't want it too bright. And we can start here. I'll get this nice and sharp. Now see, I'll start with this rock here. A little bit of colour there, right on the top. And then I'll push this one right in front of it, just like that. Highlight the top of that, bang. And get this one in front of that dark shadow you put there. You got another dark shadow there. Here, right at the top. Leave some, you don't have to do all of them. Pull that there. This one's going to come in front there like that. Cut across down. See, so there's less of this again. Okay, I feel I've finished it, but I'm just feeling a bit arty. I still feel something's a bit missing here, so I'm going to get a bit of titanium white out of the tube. I'm just going to spread it like peanut butter onto my glass palette. Okay, this is why I'm doing this, so I can control what I'm putting on my knife. See how thick that paint is? Beautiful quality paint. Now I'm just going to wipe that knife clean, and I probably want to get some paint on it. Now that's quite a blob. It's going to be too hard. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to sting it. What do you mean, Ian, by stinging it? I just made it up there and then. I'm just going to
do that, and I've flattened it. I just squashed it against the
easel there. And I want to try and, let's say here, because the knife's going to make more natural. There we go, look at that. I couldn't do it even if I tried with a brush. Not that. I will sink that bit down because I feel I've just did a little snotty move there. Now what I'm going to do is just grab this knife and get rid of some of that thick stuff. Try and sit it down. Because it's too stark, you know what I mean? I'm just going to sign this painting and then we'll whack a frame on it. Now, be sure to look at all my links in the description below. I want to thank all my patrons who support my content every month. Much appreciated. Message me on Facebook if you ever want to buy a painting on my blending brushes. The links are in the description below. There's 12 links there. Get used to seeing what I've got in my link tree, because they'll really help you out a lot. I have over 400 video tutorials in my channel here. Okay, I'll whack a frame on this, see how she looks. There you go, that's not too shabby, is it? We've got a pretty setting horizon-y sky there, beautiful real colours, got not a bad sort of ocean there, and we've got some kind of ratepayer beach, rocky coastline there with some shrubbery there. And I know you can do that. Well, thank you for watching. I quite enjoyed that painting. It's something different, and it's the sort of painting that looks like a painting when you hang it on your wall, don't you reckon? Like I said, be sure, share, like and subscribe, give me the thumbs up, and check out my link tree below. And if you like what I'm doing, be sure to tell your friends. But if you don't like what I'm doing, you tell everybody. All right? Goodbye, good luck, and good on ya.